focus much on your emotions because, in most situations, being someone who's born in an ignorant society, you suffer from certain levels of the such. And, well, since no one is perfect and no one will ever be perfect, we will always live a lot of our life in certain levels of ignorance. See, many people don't seem to understand what emotions are. Besides being energy in motion, emotion is nothing else but a certain indicator of how things go within your own body and also on the outside. If we look at things, when you meet people, you don't know anything about those, but just by a handshake, you get a certain energy download from them. This is no occult technology, this is nothing out of the ordinary, this is something that naturally happens. And based on the energy inputs that you get from that other person, your gut, which is basically another brain, and is highly specialized in energy detection and, well, energy fluctuations, your gut will simply signal you what you would need to understand about that person and certain circumstances. As a man, usually it can be a bit more difficult, but when you want, for example, to buy a house, everything is perfect, the price is good, the house looks nice, but for some reason the woman, right, your wife, simply does not like it. She does not feel comfortable there. In a certain way, women are more connected to their emotions. So there is something within her that simply triggered her attention. See, even the geometry of the house is very important because how energy flows through a certain interior, well, that is a certain point. The geometry of any object will also help determine that. And if there are certain nuances that cause distortions, well, women usually can be more perceptible to this. But an ignorant society is all about making you be inactive and as disconnected from your emotions as possible. Because what is a sick society? Well, technically, it seeks to create constant depression, and if you look well, depression sells well in movies and video games. It wants to make depression your own natural state so that you can't perceive anything other than that, and anything other than that is more or less a curse. So, technically, if you would want to feel happy, that's basically like a curse. You're probably going to be treated as a pariah. If you look at miserable people, when you're happy, they're always confused. How can you be happy when confusion seems to be the only thing, right? But that's how ignorant people are. They don't know much. Most likely, they wouldn't do any effort to learn more. And when they see something which is completely different than what they've been knowing and doing, well, that's kind of a problem because, well, they can't understand it, so they either must break it so that you also suffer with them, or they'll try to invite themselves in your lives. And, well, the point is, when they come into your life, being destructive, they won't bring anything else either, right? So if you live in certain levels of ignorance, and there are thousands of layers of ignorance, well, if you live in any of these, the problem is when you live by your emotions, well, your emotions will only trigger reactions because when you are in ignorance, you are not capable of understanding the source of those emotions. Those emotions simply come from the outside. In most situations, those emotions aren't even yours. Just like the knowledge that you have, it was all gathered more or less sooner or later from the outside, just like anything else that you will learn will also be acquired from the outside. So the point is, within you there was literally anything, and now you are an amalgamation of such energies that exist within you. But unfortunately, many people end up thinking that those energies are themselves. So when you live by emotions, the problem is you will react by those, right? If you live unconsciously, you will simply react to those emotions because that's what living in ignorance means. You will live fully unconsciously. The more conscious you live, the more you can realize that, see, these emotions, they happen, but they are the result of certain things. If you just let them flow, it simply won't bother you because they just flow. Everything that you put inside of you will seek to come outside. That is why thoughts constantly repeat in your mind. They're not there to bother you. They're not demons constantly tempting you with thoughts, as Christian idiots would tell you. They're just thoughts that karmically they want to leave, because everything that you put inside of you, it wants liberation. Just like life. When life enters a physical body, it also seeks a certain sense of liberation, because through liberation does it become truly free. Just like when someone transcends the cycles of life and death, they become one with creation. Every unfulfilled thought basically will seek to become one with creation. So your emotions and the thoughts that constantly repeat within your mind, well, they're not there to piss you off, they just want to be free. They're not demons tempting you with all sorts of things, they're not punishments from God, as Christian bozos might tell you. Their only purpose is to create depression within you. Once they create enough depression, well, depression creates frustration. Frustration sells pretty well, because frustration creates all sorts of diseases. It makes people impatient, and lack of patience, well, that makes you more ignorant. And more ignorance means that you will react even more to your emotions. And it's a death spiral that people don't seem to be easily escaping. This being said, hopefully this video was introspective enough. Take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferencan Board signing out.